Hey, what's up? It's Vision Time. And a lot of people been lying to y'all about this Sherrone Moore incident in the University of Michigan. But I'm here to give you guys the real spiel, the most information that we have learned so far. And if you haven't got your information from Pete Thamel, it's false and it's fake. But Vision is here to give y'all the real spiel. Let's get it. So, Sherrone Moore, age 39, fired for inappropriate relationship with his executive assistant, Paige Shivers. Affair with Shivers, right? Paige Shivers, whose dad is an scout for the Chicago Bears, y'all. This girl has already affiliated and already connected in the football community. Her dad is a pro football scout right there. So she joined the Michigan program on November 2021 as an on-campus recruiting and football operations coordinator. Then this girl was later promoted to an executive assistant to the head coach by February 2024. Uh-oh. Then the school had an investigation on this in the past about their incident between Sherrone Moore and Paige Shivers. But the thing was, the university did not have enough evidence to fire Sherrone Moore at the chance. So they didn't fire him, y'all. So now we get to the point now, just moments ago this week, he's fired. So, quote unquote, says that an anonymous person gave them enough information for University of Michigan to finalize the deal to fire Sherrone Moore. So, with that being said, a lot of people affiliated with Moore and football, football reporter Pete Thamel, what sparked the investigation of even more was something changed this week for the university to fire Moore this week. Somebody came forward and presented evidence for Michigan to change their mind. So at first they wasn't going to fire him, to they changed it to, oh yeah, he's going to get fired. So there is somebody affiliated with either Sherrone Moore or Shivers that know what they've been doing and got this man fired. So it got to be some kind of evidence, y'all. I'm thinking it probably some kind of video out there or some kind of evidence or something in the text message going on for them to fire this man. Because first of all, they had a full investigation going on and they couldn't find enough evidence. So with that being said, man, let's keep going. So when you look at after being fired, this dude, Sherrone Moore, was detained by the police, spent the night in Washtenaw County Jail, which is the county where Ann Arbor, Michigan is located, y'all. So this is insane though. When you look at it, he went home after he got fired. He went home. Of course, he probably had a major altercation with his wife. His wife probably trying to get a divorce or whatever, or leave him. So of course he's upset about that. But he is his own doing in this. This is your fault, Mr. Moore. Okay, this is your fault. If you go ahead and handle your business and do the righteous thing, first of all, you married. You should already be righteous anyway. You the one that sped the vows, bro. So you the one should be mad at yourself. So apparently this dude threatened to kill himself in front of his wife. Then he left and drove to a woman house who may be the sister or maybe somebody else, because quote unquote says that this the at the detached people was taught, excuse me, y'all. But when you talk about the police report, it says a woman reported that this black man who was just fired from his job, has been stalking her for weeks. So who could it be, y'all? Who could it be that says this, y'all? But this dude, Sherrone Moore, broke into this girl's house, held a knife to himself, and threatened to kill him and her. So what happened? He didn't follow the plan. He didn't kill himself or her. So he left the house, and eventually he was found at the fucking local church. Maybe he was praying. I don't know what he was doing, but the police found him at the local church. So at the local church, the police picked him up, and he spent the night at the Washtenaw County Jail. So the wife and the mistress also follow each other on social media. I just find that pretty ironic, y'all. Maybe they even know about each other. Moore been engaged to his wife since 2014. Well, that's when they got engaged, but he's been married to his wife since 2015 to Kelly Moore. Sherrone Moore and Kelly Moore have 3 kids together. And with that being said, they have a lovely family. But right now, there's a lot of going on in that family. So the police informed ESPN it had detained the 39-year-old Moore before turning him over to the Peaksville Township Police Department for investigation onto potential charges. The Pittsfield Police Department said in a statement that it investigated an alleged assault at 4:10 p.m. Wednesday and took an unnamed suspect into custody. Moore is expected to appear in court for arraignment on Friday, per Pittsfield Police. So he's gonna have a statement that he's gonna, talk about on Friday. So tomorrow, this dude will be in court, and we'll have to hear what he had to say. But man, in my opinion, bro, you had the opportunity of a lifetime, bro. Like you had a $6.1 million annual contract at Michigan, and they also gave you an extra 500K retention bonus. Michigan will have Michigan don't even have to pay you that buyout anymore because of the clause. So when you look at your contract, if you're fired with a clause, they don't have to pay the buyout money. That's the crazy part. So Michigan fires the first black coach in their history who won a national championship with a loaded roster, and Jim Harbaugh got them together. But if y'all know about it, Jim Harbaugh, the former coach of Michigan, had in his contract that if he was to leave Michigan, Sherrone Moore would be the head coach. And we all know that Jim Harbaugh was a running type of coach. He liked to run the football, and Sherrone Moore was the offensive line coach. And so, offensive line has a lot to do with the run game. So, of course, they was affiliated with each other. They probably got along well. They agreed with a lot of things. And so there you go. He had a good relationship with Jim Harbaugh. So when we look at the crazy part, I think Sharon Moore had two strikes already, if you ask me. I think strike one was he wasn't supposed to be the head coach anyway, guys. When you look at Jim Harbaugh, of course, he had his contract. He leased the program. Sharon Moore should be the next head coach. And so that's strike one. Okay, so they didn't really want Sharon Moore to be the head coach at the University of Michigan. All right, strike two. The man already had two incidents. When you look at incident number one, he was already violating the COVID recruiting rules in 2023. And then he was suspended one game for that. And then another one, he had a sign stealing investigation rumor going on involving former Michigan assistant Connor Stallions missing two games this year. So remember those two games that he missed as a coach? That was because of that. And then he also deleted 52 message thread. He and Connor Stallions, the texts were later recovered and shared with the NCAA. And strike number three, y'all, this incident right here, it just made it worse on himself. If he would have won a national championship this season, I believe, man, this dude they probably would have tried to sweep this shit on the rug, bro. But he didn't win. He underachieved in Michigan, just plain and simple, y'all. And that's a big maybe. They may or may not have swept this on the rug. But the real crazy part is this man had the opportunity of a lifetime, like I said earlier. Going to next year, y'all got to think about Michigan right now. Michigan had one of the greatest freshman quarterbacks they had in a long time in Bryce Underwood, right? So they would have been top 10 in preseason. Going into next year, I believe Michigan would have been a top 10 preseason team. They ended the season 9-3 with a nice bowl game with Texas, and that bowl game is December 31st. So, having Bryce Underwood there and also 5 other freshman guys, and then you had offensive line depth. You had a nice recruiting class, and I think that I really, really believe that University of Michigan couldn't wait till they got these guys signed. So the early signing day for recruiting, they waited till that get done. So therefore, they can have these guys already signed, and then they fire the coach. Okay. So I mean, it's a whole messed up thing with Michigan anyway. They already been caught for cheating, and now you have this little scandal going on. So Michigan, man, I don't know, man. But right now, the interim coach right now is Bill Poggi. Michigan is one of the biggest sports brands in America, y'all. I think Michigan is a top 7 to 8, best job in the world when you talk about college football. They're up there with the Alabamas, the Ohio States of the world. I think this is probably a top 5 coaching job, period. So if my opinion, I think, when you look at potential coaches, who could they possibly hire? I mean, a lot of people have been talking about Kalen DeBoer. People talking about Kalen DeBoer not being comfortable at Alabama. People talked about Lane Kiffin. I don't think Lane Kiffin is going to leave LSU. I guarantee you, though, I think Paul Feinbaum kind of funny though, man. He was talking about earlier today on the show. If Lane Kiffin knew about this already before, he would have not even go to LSU. He'd have went straight to Michigan. I just think Paul Feinbaum funny as hell. But like other coaches who were potential hires, Tommy Rees, he's the offensive coordinator for the Cleveland Browns. Jesse Minter, offensive coordinator for the Chargers. Manny Diaz. Manny Diaz just won the ACC championship at Duke, and Duke ain't won the ACC title in a long. I don't think they ever won, to be honest with you, in football. So that's a good candidate there. Jed Fish from Washington. Marcus Freeman name came up. I doubt that happened. Dan Lanning, I doubt it. Kurt Signetti, I think that would be kind of hard to do. He just got an extension. But that's my thing though. I think the new coaches would be hard to get, but those guys that have an extension could be a little bit more easier. And that's something that Thamer said in his interview today. I think Clark Lee would be good, the head coach for Vanderbilt. Clark Lee is an amazing coach. I think Kenny Dillingham would be good, the head coach for Arizona State. Another name is Brian Hayes, the head defensive coordinator for Indiana. That is a good name. Every coach that's looking for a top-notch job their name should be called for this interview, guys, because Michigan right now, I believe they're gonna throw the bag at the next guy because they're in desperate need of a coach. And I'm hearing that Bryce Underwood unfollowed the University of Michigan, and he took off the University of Michigan off his page on Twitter. So I'm not so sure he's gonna be there next year, guys. When you ask me, and then the crazy part is this is major right here. The players that just signed to Michigan, they get an automatic release because of the national letters of intent from early signing day because of the head coaching change, right? So the players on the roster, they get two portal windows. They get one on January the 2nd and another when they get a new head coach hired. So they have two potential times when they can leave throughout the transfer portal. I just think that's pretty intriguing there. Now this is the spiel, y'all. I'm not sure a lot of people are talking about this. I got my information from Pete Thamel. I don't know where they get their information from. Uh, my nose a little stuffy, man. A little sick, but I just want to make sure that I give you guys the beans today, man, because this is a big deal, man. You got the first black head coach in Michigan history. Um, I mean, he started off kind of pretty good, if you ask me. I mean, it's not too high standards like Jim Harbaugh, but I think he did decent, man. I mean, they finished top 25 in the country. Um, they only lost 3 games, and imagine if they would have beat Texas. Let's say on December 31st, Sherrone Moore still the head coach, and they beat Texas in the bowl game. That would have been big, man. That would have been big. He had the opportunity of doing that, and then entering next season as a preseason top 10 team. But that shit is stopped now. So this dude life is ruined, man. I mean, everything he had is gone now. Wife, you know, um, your career, all because of lust. That's what it is, of lust, man. And there are some things you can't ever get back, and I'm pretty sure Sherrone Moore is wishing he can get this chance back, and he probably won't ever get another coaching job in college ever again. I'm pretty sure that Sherrone Moore is done in college. It's already hard for African American coaches to find a job in college. That's why Deion Sanders went to Colorado so quickly, because he even knew how hard it is to get a D1 job like that in college football. So and then this dude at the University of Michigan, bro, a top 5 destination for coaches, bro, and he ruined it. And it got worse when he got out the campus. When he got off the campus, it gets worse because you're the one that broke into a lady's house and threatened to kill her and yourself. So that's a charge right there. So you get fired and you get a charge. You get a criminal charge. So let me know what you guys think in the comment section, man. This is a good one, y'all. This is good information. I mean, another coach goes down in 2025, man. We had about 30 different coaching vacancies at schools now, man. So let me know what you guys think in the comments. What would you have done in this situation? Who should Michigan hire as the coach? Will Michigan be a top team next year? And will Michigan win a bowl game? Let me know what you guys think, y'all. Now you have the vision. Peace.